Yazz's mom brought Yazz to Charlie. And Charlie came and got me and was like, what you want to do? I started writing for Yazz. Like that's why it makes me mad to see what's going on with him right now. Like I can't believe what I'm watching.
Right.
I can't believe what I'm watching. Like for you to flip that way and turn like you doing running. Like what is wrong with you, man?
A link has been established between Diddy and Jeffrey Epstein, and according to word on the streets, this thread connects Diddy's victims directly to Epstein's. The name that everybody is echoing is Bryshere Gray, and according to the reports, his Hollywood father, Terrence Howard, had something to say about Bryshere being on Jeffrey Epstein's island of atrocities.
Surrounded by a whole lot of strength, he's surrounded by a whole lot of love, and all he has to do is add discipline, and he gonna be all right.
It's like Uncle Will, you know? Who is best to give you advice?
The thing about Hollywood that most people fail to realize is that it's all connected. The parties in the hills, backroom deals, the spotlight, and the people in it, they're all connected. Oftentimes to a deep, dark shadow lurking behind the scenes, a force so subtle yet so powerful that people are too scared to talk about it. It all has a way of boiling down to one person, or maybe a small, untouchable circle of power pulling the strings from behind the scenes like a twisted puppet master. We all thought that Diddy was the height of it, the flashy mogul, the king of the white parties, the man who could make or break careers with a single text. But turns out he was just a pawn in the game, a loud, shiny distraction. The ladder goes all the way up, higher than the billboards, higher than the Grammys, higher than most of us are comfortable looking. And Bryshere Gray, he was just one of many victims caught in the middle of it, a young star who went from being Empire's golden child to another name echoing in the darkest corners of the industry. The documents continue to drop, and it is confirming everything that Terrence Howard said about Bryshere Gray. But Jaguar Wright said it first. She told us Will Smith was in the same circle with Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Diddy, and Jay-Z, men of influence, all ridiculed with dozens of SA lawsuits buried under the prying eyes of the media, silenced by hush money and other extreme measures for years. But did anybody believe her? No, not until that video of Will Smith on a green screen of what appeared to be Epstein's island in the background surfaced.
Y'all, we out here on vacation in the Bahamas, another beautiful day. Check it out, check it out. Boom. I want to talk to y'all for a minute about the power.
He wanted to talk about the power of perception, how what you see might not be all there is. But why use the exact replica of Epstein's island as the backdrop, unless there was something more to it? Jaguar Wright has said it time and time again that Will Smith was involved in what happened to Bryshere Gray. He was an upcoming superstar who had things really looking up for him in Hollywood, but now reduced to an OF page with barely any traction, doing the most to get a buck online. Just like Jaguar, many believe that Bryshere turned over to the other side because of his encounter with Diddy and Will Smith. Because before anything else, before turning against his wife and turning on the webcam, he allegedly turned the other cheek to them first.
As far as Will Smith is concerned, until he does right by all of those that were harmed and corrupted while in his care, and that grew up to be men, boys like Bryshere Gray, August Alsina, your own son. Like, your own son.
This same hand was extended to Terrence Howard by Diddy. The scene played out after Terrence was invited over to Diddy's home for some acting lessons, but turns out the invite was for something more sinister.
For weeks asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to f*** you.
Terrence protected his man card, but Jaguar Wright blamed him for having a man card only big enough to protect himself and not Bryshere.
But when you lose your man card, That's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card,
What is that? What do you mean by that?
you give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it.
But what if Terrence did try to warn Bryshere? Speculations on the net is that he might have, but Bryshere, enticed by the promise of wealth beyond measure and a career spanning the world, turned on deaf ears. This person put it bluntly. As for Terrence Howard, what if he did try to talk Bryshere out of going to meet with these people and Bryshere just didn't listen? What if the reason he didn't mention Bryshere is because that is not his story to tell, or maybe Bryshere doesn't want him speaking on it? We don't know what conversations took place between Terrence and Bryshere in private. Doesn't Bryshere's parents need to be held accountable on some level? Speaking of his parents, Jaguar Wright has mentioned in the past that Bryshere's mother, Andrea Mayberry, willingly gave him up to Diddy, her own son, all for the promise of fortune and fame. But she didn't do it all by herself. Bryshere's manager, Charlie Mack, was in on it too.
When all this,
If I run into you in public, and when I say Andy, I'm talking about Bryshere's mom, I'm gonna kick you in your pussy and then I'm gonna go to work North Philly style, bitch. Kill. And Charlie, you happy now? He's a star. Are you happy now, Andy?
They were supposed to protect him, lead him, guide him through the right path, but instead, they both gave him up. And that's not even the worst part. Bryshere wants back in. According to Jaguar Wright, Bryshere's new act across his socials might not be the cry for help we think it is. As a matter of fact, it could be an act, a plea, so that they can take back into the circle once more.
You wanna know the thing that bothers me most about Bryshere Gray? I actually think he's doing all of this so they'll take him back in the club. And they're not. They're gonna keep gaslighting you and playing with you, promising you one thing or another. Not now, not now. Just next year's gonna be your time. You know, you need to get yourself out there. You need to.
And what of brother Bilal's revelations? Will Smith's very own ex-bestie, once a part of the inner circle, now his most formidable foe? He came on Tasha K to spill the tea twice, without catching a lawsuit from Will or Jada once, in spite of all their threats. And what did he have to say? How Will, Diddy, and Charlie Mack were Bryshere, and all the terrible things they made him do.
It's a damn mess. It's no other way to put it. This dude is going crazy, right? He's out there allegedly with male prostitutes. He's pissing in the trailer. He's acting psychotic, right?
The same thing he's doing now.
Beyond that. But this is why a show is going on, right? So I'm like, I pull him to the side, right? And I said, listen, I'm here to help you and so forth and so on. So he was like, all right, I feel that. He said, everybody on the set know you. Everybody seem like they love you. Okay. I want to love you because everybody else love you. I said, if that's what you want to do, then do it. But he kept acting up. And then one day I said, what the F is wrong with you? And he was like, you know. He said, you know Will me. You know Diddy made me. You know what's going on. You know Charlie made me. And I said, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea.
And that's where the story circles back to the island, the one place that ties every shadow in this web together. Bryshere Gray wasn't just another young star chasing a bag at Diddy's infamous parties. According to the whispers that have only grown louder since the latest Epstein file drops, he made the trip, the real one, not just the flashy white parties in the hills or the freak-offs in LA mansions. The island, Little St. James, the place where the real strings get pulled and the masks come all the way off. Jaguar Wright said it years ago, and people laughed. She named Will Smith in the same breath as Epstein, Diddy, and Jay-Z, like they all swam in the same polluted waters. She claimed Will wasn't just mentoring Bryshere out of the kindness of his Philly heart. He was handing him over, breaking him in, getting him ready for the big leagues of control. And now, with that eerie green screen clip of Will standing in front of what looks exactly like Epstein's island villa floating around, the dots are connecting in ways that feel too precise to be coincidence. What if the mentorship didn't stop at private jets and industry introductions? What if Will Smith took Bryshere to the island himself? One of many young, ambitious, beautiful, black talents paraded in front of the real power players, powerful figures whose names never quite make the headlines, the ones who stay protected no matter how many lawsuits pile up. Word on the streets is that the whole thing has been getting to Terrence Howard. He's been watching the backdrop, lurking behind the scenes, and reading the comments, like this one that blames him for what happened to Bryshere Gray. People keep saying he was grown. I don't care how old a man is. If I know going down road A is going to lead him to ruin, I'm gonna do everything in my power to stop him. Everything else is weird and complicit. Terrence Howard protected himself that night at Diddy's house. He kept his dignity, but according to word reaching us, the guilt of watching his on-screen son get swallowed up by the greed of these untouchable upper echelons has grown into a heavy, unbearable cross. So now he's talking, this time not in riddles or metaphors. He's allegedly pointing at the island and saying that's where it all went down. This is where he was broken. This is what they do not want you to see. But what do you think? Do you believe that Bryshere Gray was straight up sold off by his own mother, handed over to Diddy and that same elite circle like some kind of currency for a shot at fame and fortune? And what about his silence now? The way he's gone quiet on the real trauma while spiraling into wild of content and cryptic posts. Maybe there's no clean exit. Maybe the only options left are to stay quiet or act out loud enough that they notice and pull you back in from the cold. Because one thing's for sure, the more these documents drop and the Epstein Diddy threads keep tightening, the less this feels like baseless gossip. Bryshere's story might be the missing piece that blows the whole thing open. The young star who got sacrificed, saw too much on that island, and now walks the line between exposure and begging for reinstatement. Drop your thoughts about this in the comments. And if you're locked in on this raw, unfiltered truth, don't just swipe past, hit that like, subscribe, and stay glued for the next bombshell loading up now.